We started our ascent into the Bighorn Mountains. The ground was wet but very grippy with minimal mud. I took a quick detour off the main route to the overlook, which offered some views of what lied ahead. It was here that the group decided to split up due to some reports of heavy mud ahead. The mud warning turned out to be overblown, but the next section, due to heavy rains, took Joe and myself for the ride of our lives through the most slippery clay surface I've ever experienced. We continued through the Renner Wildlife Area when the heavy fog finally let up as we rode this gorgeous section into Hyattville. During this initial section of the Bighorn Mountains, for which we received a warning that deep mud lied ahead, it turned out to be not much at all. A little bit of sand and a little bit of slippery mud was easily manageable for us. However, once we got to the bottom and the rain started kicking in, the next section would be something else. In the rain, these dirt roads were actually not as bad as I would have imagined. We had plenty of grip. However, this pickup truck would mark the start of an incredible slippy section for us. We could actually tell by the color of the clay in the head how slippery things would get. This black clay that you see right here was actually not as bad. It was slippery, don't get me wrong, but nothing compared to what lied ahead. A great indicator of just how sticky and slippery this clay is, you can see on Joe's bike it flying all over the place out of his rear and front tires. You can also tell at my front tire how the clay is starting to munch up. It may seem like the obvious choice to just ride the grass or gravel section in hopes for more grip, but trust me, there was none to be found. As the clay started changing colors from black to brown to red, we hit the worst part yet. The red clay was the most slippery thing I've ever experienced, even compared to ice and snow. Little slippery. After the crash, I had a chance to look at the bike and see how aggressive the clay actually was. You can see here on my front wheel how it's just locking up entirely and going sideways. Clay is bunching up and blocking the wheel from moving at all. This clay also had an effect on our chain. It constantly got caught between the chain and the sprocket and blocked the rear wheel as well. If you were going too slow, the front would just lock up entirely and you would have basically a one-wheel drive vehicle. Mercifully, we finally made it off the slippery clay into some regular wet surfaces, where we traded the slippery stuff for heavy fog. Even through the extremely heavy fog, we could tell occasionally as the sky opened up for us that the Renner Wildlife Area had some of the best views around. At the very last bit of the Renner Wildlife Area, we got back into some heavy clay, where at the end we found another rider on a Yamaha T7 who has broken his front suspension. From here it was easy riding into Hyattville, where we know there was a mechanic on duty, so hopefully he got his bike fixed and to ride the rest of the BDR.